Good evening and welcome to the September 14th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Can I please get a motion and a second to accept the board minutes from August 24th, 2015?
So moved.
Second.
Vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. And moving on to public participation, we do have a guest this morning, this evening, Hugh Kelleher from Hallmark Health, and if you could introduce yourself and explain the vote at Hallmark, please.
Sure, thank you. Hugh Kelleher. I am System Vice President for Support and Ancillary Services with Hallmark Healthcare. I have hospitals in Melrose Wakefield Hospital, and Lawrence Memorial Hospital in Medford. And I'm here tonight to just update the Selectmen. We have made a purchase of the former Subaru site at 888 Main Street with the intent of constructing a medical office building. So we're very happy to be moving into Wakefield. We'll now have Melrose and Wakefield in our name, as the hospital does, and we'll be representing. We're still in the design and programming phases of our project, and we will be going to our Board of Trustees later on this month to present to them our proposal for the site.
Thank you, sir. Any questions?
What, what will transpire in there? What care or what kind of doctors or who would be able to go there? Could you explain just a little bit about that?
Sure. The doctors will be members of our Hallmark Health Medical Associates, which is a physician corporation that's part of the Hallmark family. And we intend to have primary care physicians, but also a walk-in clinic. We're not calling it urgent care. It'll be a walk-in clinic that'll operate hours to be determined, but regular days of the week. Again.
Well, the fact that it's a walk-in clinic makes that very good for the town.
Yes.
And sure it'll turn out to be a good asset for the town. Would the walk-in clinic be open 24 hours a day?
Not 24 hours, probably 12 hours.
12 hours a day. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, Tim.
How big is the facility going to be?
To be determined. We're modeling 2 scenarios right now, and we'll be bringing that to the board later on. So we don't want to let that one out yet.
Is there a parking garage attached? That's just a joke.
Yeah.
If he wants to get a permit, he'll.
Yeah, that was just a joke.
It could be.
It could be.
Yes.
Will any of the services be duplicated or be duplicates of what's over on Walker Brook Road there in Reading, where you have the Hallmark Health there?
Yeah, we have primary care physicians in there
Right.
as well.
I mean, that's where I go, and I just didn't know if it would be duplicated down in the new place.
There will be some duplicates.
Some of the services.
Right.
That's great.
We'll probably have at least a minimum of x-ray and a lab collection. We won't have a lab draw station. It'll be collected by the staff that are on site.
Great. Good. Oh, welcome to Wakefield.
Great, we're very
Right.
excited to be here.
Yeah, that's great.
It took a long time, but we're really pleased. And we really appreciate the support we got from you, Stephen, right from the very beginning. It was the whole idea.
Yeah, we've met with Hallmark Health, with our town planner, our building inspector, I believe our DPW director as well, just to talk about the site. It's going to be a great addition to Wakefield, and whatever we can do to support you as you go forward in the permitting process, be great.
Great, is this being taped?
Absolutely.
Yes. Great. Well, welcome. Thank you very
Thank you very
much.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to personnel. Can we please get a motion and a second to appoint Amy Lehman to the Event Planning Committee?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Pat, second by Betsy. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. On to license permits and approvals. Can I get a motion and second to approve a request from Terry Qualters for a one-day liquor license for a fundraising event at the Crystal Community Club on September 26th, 2015, and to waive that fee?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We need to set a public hearing. Can I get a motion and second to open the public, are we opening?
Why don't we
Time?
wait a few minutes, but
7:40,
you
yep.
can
We can move on.
you can move on to 7B.
Great. To set the.
To set that, yep.
Great. We need a motion and a second to set a public hearing on September 28th, 2015 at 8 p.m. for the Wakefield Municipal Gas and Light Department to locate poles, wires, cables, and fixtures, including the necessary anchors, guides, and other such sustaining and protecting fixtures to be owned and used by the WMGLD along and across the following public way or ways. The first being Salem Street near the intersection of Chapman Road, approximately 35 feet northeast of pole 71, to be numbered pole 71-S. The second, Salem Street near the intersection with Chapman Road, approximately 50 feet, pole number 72, to be numbered pole 72-S. And third being Salem Street near the intersection with Lowell Street, approximately 32 feet southerly of pole 63, placing one pole to be numbered pole 63.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay, moving on to presentation and action items before the public hearing. Can I get a motion and a second to accept the Lucius B.B. Library request to accept and expend a gift or gifts to the library in the amount of $11,968 with thanks?
So moved.
Moved by Tiz, second by Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Marcus, okay, Steve, do you want to present?
Sure.
That, you can do that now?
I can do that right now,
Okay.
yep.
Mark-
As the board may recall, at our last meeting, I talked about another effort that we are undergoing to really try to help revitalize our downtown. And I think we've heard that a couple of locations are going to be having new eating establishments in them. I still feel that we need to do more to work with the business owners, the business property owners, to see what is the best thing they can do to market their property and what businesses would work. So we've talked a lot with, the Mass Business Works that kind of helps us with these things at the state level. And there is a consultant that does go out and does market analyses and profiles for towns. And they actually will say that, Wakefield has so much income in it. And there is a need or desire in Wakefield for, let's say, a shoe store. And if Wakefield were to capture 30% of the shoe money out there that's available in Wakefield, a 3,000 square foot shoe store would survive and do quite well. They do this type of detailed analysis. They've done it in other places, and I've looked at some of the reports. So what I'd like to do, and I mentioned this to the board at our last meeting, is we have engaged a consulting firm that does this. Tom Mullen has reviewed the contract. I'd like to engage Fine Points Associates LLC to work with me, the town planner, Main Street Program, Chamber of Commerce, our Economic Development Committee, any board that wants to be on it. I know that Selectman Donaco has expressed interest. And to really, let's pull this together and see what we can do to help our businesses or our property owners in downtown, to then hand that information to them and say, what can we do together to bring this and to help make our downtown vital and vibrant and relevant. So Tom Mullen has reviewed this. The only difference is that Tom's a much better negotiator than I am, and the price of the contract will be $9,900, not the $10,000 that, I should say better than the town planner, because he negotiated the $10,000. This will not be taxpayer money that we'll be using for this. This will be some of our project income money that we have in our CDBG account, which is a grant that we got years ago that is that we have lent out money and money that we've received back from homeowners and what have you. There is some money in that account, and we can use that for planning and what have you. So I'm very excited about it. I think it's a great opportunity for the town. Town planners put a lot of work into this, and I am, again, what we're trying to do everything we can to make this better for the town of Wakefield. So I would love it if the board would approve the expenditure from the CDBG account and to go forward with this venture.
Move that we approve the expenditure.
Second.
Moved by Betsy, second by Paul. Any discussion?
I think it's a great idea.
As do I. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Great idea.
Chair, I move that we open the public hearing.
Second.
Roll call. Phyllis?
Yes.
Tiz?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay. The public hearing is for an all-alcohol license to Leanne Wheeler or her nominee relating to the premises known and numbered as 397 Main Street.
Right, and we'd be looking for a motion to continue this
Okay.
until our next meeting
So moved.
Second.
at 7:40.
All in favor of the motion to continue?
Aye.
Do you want to name a particular date?
Our next meeting
September
is
28th?
September 28th at 7:40 PM. Yeah.
We need a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, sorry.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay.
And just so you know, they're not ready to go forward.
Okay,
They weren't, I don't think there's any issue, I think it's just,
great. And
They're
what
not ready.
property is it?
this is the
Duck walk.
Duck Walk property.
Oh, yeah, okay, great. Okay. Moved out of the closed hearing, now going to, let me ask. Go right into this?
Yep.
Okay, so, I'm gonna toss this over to Steve. This is, we need a motion and a second, but there may be some discussion or some
Yes.
presentation by Steve with regard to referral of zoning warrant article amending lodging units in Airbnbs as special permit for the 2015 Fall Town Meeting to the Planning Board.
Right, actually, it's an amendment allowing lodging units and accessory lodging units
Okay.
by special permit only, so there was a little
Okay.
bit of a change. As many of you may be aware, we have received, the board has received, I know I have received many concerns from homeowners in their neighborhoods about people that are basically lodging houses and lodging units out of their home. Under our current zoning bylaw, it's very unclear about what can be run and what can't be run out of a home. And I think that our current zoning bylaw says that you may have a lodging unit in your house, which is defined as one or more rooms for semi-permanent dwelling use of not more than 3 individuals not living as a single household unit and not having a cooking facility. Well, I really don't know what semi-permanent means. I think Attorney Mullen and I and Attorney Dodo and I could argue that pretty well for on different sides. But what's happening is that people are taking advantage of this and they're doing a couple of things. They're either running longer-term lodging units in their house, and we all know where they are around us, or they are actually advertising and running short-term under what's called Airbnb. Which means they are on the internet and they're going out there and they're saying, you know what, come to Wakefield and rent a room in my house. And people are taking up on it. It's gonna be $65, $70 a night, and it's not that far from Boston. And I tell you, I've gone through and I've seen a number of them in Wakefield, and they are on Garden Lane, they're on Evans Place, they're on Greenwood Ave, they're on Winship Drive. People that are advertising on the, so what happens, this does is this changes a residential neighborhood into a commercial neighborhood, which is unfair to the neighbors, and I know that some of you have weighed into me, you've heard from some of the neighbors out there. So what I'm proposing, and I've talked this over with the building inspector and with town council and with the town planner, that we offer a amendment to the zoning bylaw at our town meeting, and I'm gonna request that this board sponsor it, stating that these accessory lodging units, these Airbnb types, short-term rentals, are only allowed by special permit in the 2 districts right now, single residence and general residence, where they are allowed now by a matter of right. And that we only allow those by special permit. So, there may be an instance where we may want to allow that somewhere, and but there may be some neighborhoods that, you know what, they should go like any other neighborhood business or accessory type of use to the zoning board. The other area is the lodging units, and this is more of a long-term rental, and right now, those are allowed as well in single residence and general residence, and in business residence as a matter of right. I'm suggesting there is no place for lodging units, in my opinion, in these single and residential areas. What it does is it creates a lot more people in the neighborhood when they thought they were moving to a single family or what have you. I think that in the business district, that by special permit, that would be fine. But in a single neighborhood like Coolidge Park, for instance, that should not be allowed, or Jackson Lane, that should not be allowed. Now, that does not mean that we, if we were to allow our kids to move back, Mr. Glynn, that they're precluded by the bylaw. I mean, I think I might want it too, but
They're already back.
your kin can move back in.
They're
But,
already back.
yeah, I think that this is something that we should put in the planning board, let them discuss it, and then let's see what happens at town meeting. I think that there's a lot of people that are very concerned about what has happened to their neighborhood, and I think this is a good way to go.
Steve, do you need a vote for this?
Yes, I need a vote to refer it, and I would like a vote perhaps, if this board would like to sponsor it at town meeting.
I move that we refer this to town meeting and that I'm in favor of sponsoring this.
I'll second.
This article.
Any discussion?
Yeah. Yeah. And Steve, do we
Yep.
have a listing of the number of known lodging units now and their addresses?
I have some, I don't know all of them.
Okay, I guess my point would be, and a comment would be that when people thought, and a lot of discussion took place, that the Olympics was coming to Boston
Yeah.
in 2024 or whatever, I think people were lining up to rent their homes, rent their houses,
Yep.
rent their backyards, rent anything to, allow people to stay there. I think it would be very difficult to control the internet. I mean, if a scofflaw wants to get in there and not,
Miscreant.
a miscreant, as I once said.
Yeah.
A scofflaw, wants to get in there and not get a special permit, they can get away with it. We haven't got the manpower to monitor
Right.
the internet to make sure they're not getting
Oh,
away with it.
I agree with you. But however, right now, it's very difficult for us to even prevent that once we do find out, given the current bylaw.
I
You know.
understand, I'm just saying, I think we'd have to rely on actually people turning their own neighbors in.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
Well,
They are.
Oh, I'm sure they are already, and they'll be,
this will give them a vehicle to do so.
yes, it will. That's all, I
And I
just,
think it will give the building inspector and maybe the health department, whoever, some backing when they approach them.
if they're having any long-term visit them for any long-term, they'll tell you once this goes through, just so they get picked up
It
somewhere.
should be pointed out, though, there is an article that allows, I think after the war, seniors to have a boarder to help pay some of the expenses, if I'm not mistaken, Steve.
Yeah, but I think that's gone by the boards, and I think that was probably why this was passed in the first place. Why it was allowed that way in the first place, but that has changed. The other thing I want to point out, that you aren't a lodger until you are beyond what is known as the second degree of kinder by definition, which means that, again, if your children or your parents or actually your niece or nephew were moving in with you in your home, that doesn't fall under this, okay? If you're setting up a separate apartment, then we do have an issue with that, with an in-law apartment that you have to go through, but that's not the same here.
Steve, I have a question. So
Yep.
what would be the enforcement of this would be through the building?
Through the zoning, through the building
Through zoning and
administrator,
building. And are there penalties attached to?
Well, I mean, the penalty is that you were issued a cease and desist and you can't utilize it, or go for a special permit where you can.
Right.
And we always told that during that time in the special permit hearing.
But there's no monetary penalty that we can assess?
Under the zoning bylaws, there is a monetary penalty. We generally don't fine because really we want compliance, and the
Right.
quicker route is through injunctive
Sure.
relief.
Okay.
Well, although that's not that quick sometimes.
Well, also a determined scofflaw or miscreant
Thank you.
will drag you through the system, refusing to pay, and ultimately you end up in a criminal trial in district court. It's hard enough to explain to a superior court judge how zoning works. Try doing that with a jury of 6 in Malden.
Enough said.
So, just quickly, and I think I've asked this of you already, Steve. A zoning change, there is no grandfathering again because of the way that we're doing this? So if it already exists now, how does that work?
This is a zoning change, and so there would be grandfathering if anybody had been using their property in this way and could show that they had used it without abandoning it for a period of 2 years or more. Because this kind of use is so intermittent, I'd encourage Jack Roberto to take a hard line and to demand proof of regular, consistent use without abandonment of 2 years or more.
Okay, so there would be, in some cases, some of these that would,
They may try.
right, okay.
Right. I think it's important that people realize we just didn't sit around and come up with this new amendment, that neighbors are complaining because their neighborhoods are changing, and no one wants 7 cars next to them with people coming in and out when you bought a lovely single family and you thought the house next to you was as well. So it's coming from people in Wakefield that are concerned. Okay, I think we have a second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
For
Aye.
finance? Aye. And you have the sponsorship as well?
Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Paul, would you like to move on to the banner signs prototype?
Absolutely, thank you,
I'll
Madam.
recuse myself from this.
Sure.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. A little over a year ago, the Savings Bank graciously sponsored our first 50 banners with the pole attachments for us, which currently now are on probably about 25 of our downtown poles. What we're suggesting now is that for the next phase, so that we can get into the spring season, to do a promotion / fundraiser, to be able to purchase 50 additional banners. The way that we were going to contemplate doing that would be to promote certain businesses by attaching the signage to the bottom of the banner, because the clips are currently already on, if you notice on the banner, there are ringlets. So we'd have the ringlets attached to this. This is a rough photo, prototype. It would have to be refined a little bit. Personally, I think it needs to be less loose. I think it needs to be a little more rigid in construction. But this was just something to show the board of what we're proposing to do. Saving Bank, again, would be the recipient of the first couple that we do, so that they would get immediate promotion or benefits for this. It's just our way of saying thank you to them. So it's just something that the main organization is trying to now move forward into to the next level, because come the spring, the banners that were up there now will have been up there for almost 2 years. So it's pull some of them down, replace them with something new, make the downtown look a little bit more vibrant. We're not suggesting putting them on every pole, because I think that would be overkill, but if you do it every other pole, that might be a strategy that we may take. But it's just something that we want to stay in Steptown as we try to promote and enhance and rejuvenate the downtown. One business sees a sign up there, the other may say, that's not a bad way of promoting. We get the funds, now we can go out and buy another set of banners. And Steve and I have talked about multiple locations for future banners that we can come up with, but this is a great funding source for it. And so that's what we're promoting for, asking for the go-ahead.
Paul, how, does someone have to be a fairly significant contributor to get their name under a banner? And I know the Savings Bank is ginormous.
In this case, right now, we haven't really researched what to do, but it's not going to be, if a business wants to have one of these, you're looking at $250 for a 3-month period or 4-month period.
So it would be for a small amount.
That's right. It's not going to be a large, but we're giving Savings
Time.
Bank what we can, because they were such a large sponsor. But this is the promotional, and again, and we don't want to have 50 sponsors, because I don't think we could put 50 signs up in the small area that we do, unless we start putting them up on Audubon Road or in different areas where you're promoting business to come to the downtown. I mean, I'd love to have a couple of signs at Market Street saying, downtown Wakefield this way, okay? Come see what we have to offer, something to that, because that's what you want to do, you want to draw them in. Even at the Wakefield train station, a couple of banners up there at that point, downtown this way.
I
Okay,
agree.
so it's a great promotional avenue that we can draw them from the train station and say, hey, listen, there's food this way. Okay, so it's an option that we have to promote the downtown, and that's all we're trying to do right now, is get more people to come to our downtown. Okay, yes.
Will you, Ann, Paul, putting one, you know, other than downtown, putting signs elsewhere, the billboard to the, I guess, southeast of Jordan's Furniture?
Yes.
The one that changes?
Yes.
Not the one on the property where the, I don't know what it's called now, it's not the Clarion Inn anymore.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
lost for words,
Lost for
actually.
words.
Yeah, not there, the
Right.
one that's
The
on
link
one
side.
twenty.
The digital one, yes.
How often do we get to use that as well?
Steve could probably speak more to it. We have used it for all of the EPC events.
Right, I know that.
I believe it's upon request, if it's not being used by another entity within the town, we would.
Because I think that would be a nice place
Right,
to
the-
project one of these.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, well, I'm not sure how the fee would be though on that. How would you?
That's not my venue.
Nah.
I'm just saying, it's a good idea. Also,
Yes.
the one on the former Clarion and
Yeah.
former Wake, you know what I
Absolutely,
mean, over there,
yes.
trees are trimmed a little bit.
No, those great areas.
Because we need help downtown, you know that more than
Absolute-
anybody, I
absolutely,
understand, Steve, I
absolutely.
understand that, we need help down there.
I had a question about that Clarion Inn, because they changed the name of it, apparently, they just put a new banner up there. Do they need to request if they, I mean,
That's on their own property. That's a grandfathered billboard that's been there before. We had a sign by law.
but is that like a change in management, almost?
Change in management,
The ownership.
but they don't have any licenses from us.
Okay, so forget.
Well, they didn't change the liquor license
As long as they
manager. We
comply.
will check into that,
Yeah.
though, with
Yeah.
them, yeah.
As long as they comply, because I mean, businesses don't routinely just, anyway. Paul?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. Are you talking about putting business signage on the banners themselves?
The banners were originally constructed with 3 grommets on the very bottom.
Yep.
So, you can make, so the bottom of the banner right now has 3 grommets here.
Yep,
They were originally designed to have a sign hanging from them.
yep,
That we just didn't get to that point,
Yeah.
because time is very important. So we find a way of permanently putting it onto the bottom here, and then attaching it to the pole so that it wouldn't be flipping in the wind.
Yeah.
So we wanna make sure that it's secure, it doesn't fall off the build, and cause any damage that way. So we're trying to make sure that when we do construct this, again, the prototype. So we wanna make sure that it's the right size, right construction, and it makes it appealing, let's put it that way. We
yeah.
don't want something that looks ugly.
I'll be honest with you, I'm all for it, I appreciate putting the banners up there, and I appreciate the, getting more vibrancy downtown and showing more activity, and you've certainly done that. What I am concerned about here is, I'm afraid, I mean, when you go to the football field and you see the signs everywhere, it starts to look honky-tonk, I hate to say it, but, and I'm concerned about that, but I'm also concerned about, I think Betsy asked the question, and I think it's an important one, how are these gonna be administered? And we just have to make sure it's a very fair process, that there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
set criteria, and granted, we all know how generous the savings bank is, but we still, it's advertising. They all get signs on their buildings, and there's very strict rules and regulations that they have to live by to do that. So for $250, they can paste their sign on a pole. It's,
It's
I don't know.
temporarily, though, it's not for.
No, I know, Paul, and I don't mean to shoot it down, because it's a good idea, but I just think, that's what I get concerned about, is over-saturation of signs, and in your face everywhere, business signs.
And I think to answer your question or to address it, I think that once we move forward on this and we come out, we have to come back up with a strategy And then once we do have that strategy as to how we would like to apply it, okay? I think that at that point, we may address most of your concerns. So it's not going to be overkill.
Yeah.
Okay, and just make it more aesthetic, so that right now, we're not talking about pulling down all the existing banners.
Right.
Leave 3 up, put 3 up, the new ones up. Space out your signage if you hang them from them, to say every third pole.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not oversaturating it with that. And that would make sense. And again, as Steve mentioned a while ago, the banners may not be just for the downtown area. The banners could be put up anywhere. North Ave, they could be put up.
Are any other towns doing this with the signs?
Beverly has them hanging from the, see, we fashion most of our requests from the surrounding community. We're stealing what they're done there because they've done this,
Well,
and
that's
and
good.
it's moved forward. We're not trying to recreate the wheel, as they say.
Beverly has a very vibrant Main Street program.
Yeah.
That is really, if you go there, you can see where Beverly has gone up a little bit. And they also have a College of Art there that helps. So
Yeah.
Sure,
we're gonna
that's-
try to create our own college with the Arts District that we're looking to do, so. I support Selectmen to knock on this, and I do take the point that it's gotta be tasteful and careful, and we'll make sure that that happens.
Okay.
Do you want a motion to accept?
Whether it be an motion or just an approval that we can move forward and follow through it now and move it out of prototype into a standard sign and come back and present that to you.
I'd like to make a motion that we move forward, but bring back to the board the prototype, the final
Yes.
drawing, rendition, whatever you want to say, and with also some rules and regs about how it's going to be not administered, but,
Yes.
promoted, I guess would be the word.
Yes, thank you.
Second?
I'll second it.
2 seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
We should get Phil's.
Let me get it. She was watching.
We need a motion and a second to set the regular town meeting date for November 16th, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Tiff, second by Betsy, all in favor?
Aye.
And we need a motion and a second warrant and close the warrant on October 8th, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Betsy, second by Paul, all in favor?
Aye.
Pretty good, people.
You're my kind of gal.
So let's go around with comments. Paul, we'll start.
I'm going to make one comment to all my friends that are observing Rosh Hashanah. I wish to extend a Happy New Year to all of them. And that's it.
All right. Phyllis.
I had several problems, but none of you have to listen to them. I was able to go to Steve Mayo at least 3 times in the past 3 weeks about people coming to my house and really little problems, but very important to them. And I have to say, Mr. Mayo resolved all those problems, so tonight you don't have to listen to them.
God bless you, Steve.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh,
And then I
it's like
second that.
listening to you, Phyllis, give your comments, but thank you. Tiff.
I'm good, thank you. Yeah.
Yep, just quickly, my father-in-law turns 85 years old today. I want to wish him a happy birthday. A prouder native of this town does not exist, so happy birthday, Dick.
Happy birthday.
Please extend my birthday greetings to him, he who tortured me for those many years.
You were not alone.
I know, I'm sure I wasn't. Yeah, I was wondering, Ann, have we heard from anyone that's willing to be on the Human Rights Commission?
Yes.
We have? Oh,
Yes,
oh,
we have a
good.
few, yeah.
Okay.
Good.
I don't need to know who it is, I just was curious.
I think next meeting, we plan to bring them in.
Oh, good. Oh, that's wonderful. And also, something I find very troubling, and I don't get any calls, I've got to tell you, I truly don't. I don't, no. Unless they're social calls, I don't get any complaints. But it's very troubling to me that over 450 families in this town need food assistance. In this day and age, and in this country, it is amazing to me. And I was thinking, everyone's out buying new things for school and all the things that are needed, for the kids, and that's great, and that's fine. And buying maybe snacks and everything else, and I'd hope that maybe everyone would think twice, and when they're doing their food shopping, you could pick up a box of pasta for $1. You know, anything can help. You know, we're not looking for gourmet food down there, but anything would help, and we're coming into, you know, maybe there's some fruit on sale or something like that, but please don't forget, because it's very troubling to me, and I think of it more often than not. There are people that, you know, a basic food, it's amazing to me, so open up your pocketbooks and your hearts. Thank you, Ann.
Excellent. Tom?
Admirable brevity, Madam Chair, I will not ruin it.
Excellent.
I'll ruin it a little bit.
Okay.
Wednesday morning, September 16th, the school department is having an assembly in their field house of the entire student body, and my understanding is that the guest speakers will be either 1 or 2 Congressional Medal of Honor winners, which is quite a feat for the school department to bring in something like that for our young people to see. What is going to be very interesting is that morning, and people at home can hear this as well, is that at least one of those Congressional Medal of Honor winners will be landing on Wall Street via a helicopter. So if people do see a helicopter around Wednesday morning, around 8:30, 9 o'clock, don't panic. That is part of the development there, and they've worked this out with the police department. If any of the board members are around and would like to attend Wednesday morning, please let me know, and I'll make sure that we get in there quickly and concisely. Second thing, Madam Chair, is that last week I was the guest of the Mayor of Amesbury and his aide, who happens to be Evan Kenny on our school committee, to kind of look at what they have done with their, and I'm going to call it an arts district. They have a larger building than our MLD building that we talked about, using this for arts and culture, that has loft space above, where there are small artists doing their craft and showing it down stairs and what have you. It is in no means an office building, and that's really what was very exciting. I met with the woman who runs it, who actually owns it privately, and she says she is turning artists away that are looking for space. So when we're up and running, it's something that she'd be happy to help us with. And what was really heartening to me, and something we've talked about, is that as you go out into the community, into the main area there are, you know, a lot of restaurants like we have, but there are these art businesses that are selling arts and what have you, doing quite well and working with the restaurants and doing some synergy, things that we really envision, I think, for that area. So I was very heartened by that. I was very excited. I came back from the meeting all happy, which Sherry was making fun of me. She said, "Did you have anything to drink?" No, I had nothing to drink. And this was really very heartening to see what was going on. So I think that's something that's going to help us in our downtown and help drive it. So thank you for all of you worked on it. And I do understand that both Selectman Janako, who were working with me on the building, would like to be liaisons as we work forward. So
Great.
that's all right with you, Madam Chair.
Wonderful.
Continue that.
Absolutely.
And that's it. That's all I have.
Excellent. No, that's all I have as well.
Move to adjourn, Madam Chair.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great job, Madam Chair.